I'm going to be immortalized today.
Awesome. Well, you're live, and everybody, if they're just jumping on, probably heard that. So everybody, thank you so much for jumping on. We are going to chat for a moment while we wait for the YouTube blast to go out. And in the meantime, if you are here, do us the favor of letting us know that you can hear me and see me and that StreamYard is doing its job. I'm currently looking over at my YouTube screen, waiting for the ad to roll. There it is.
Yes, yeah. I got
just to make
ways.
sure that we are on. And if you are in the chat, please let us know you are here. We plan to, I don't know, have a lively and engaging conversation. And as you know, I have some folks here to help me. So it should be hopefully more lively than usual. I brought like the gigantic size cup of coffee today because I felt like I was going to need it to deal with these guys. So. Hey, Sue, what is going on? It is party time. There's Next Gen and there's Fix hanging out in the chat like I asked him. Adrian, what is up? Ahead. KB loves karma. Jaina, thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on. So while we are waiting for people to hop in, and before I give these guys a chance to say hi, there's a couple things I want to do. One is to say, hey, I started a new live stream channel. So this will actually be the last live stream I'm planning on doing on this channel, on my main channel. I started a live stream channel because right now there's people in my audience who really like the live streams, and there are people who never watch them, like ever. And I want to run an experiment to see maybe the lives will perform better, maybe that audience will be better served, or maybe I'll just have two channels and I won't work very hard on either of them. So the link is in the description. The link is in the description. I would really love to have you over there. I have already 35 people, all of 35 people. But if 35 people showed up to every live stream, I would be very happy. I don't care if this channel goes to 1,000 or 2,000 or 100,000 or anything. There is Emil and Shake and Pete. Hey, you know, that thumbnail was like the height of my Canva skills. And yes, the hat. So I wanted to point out that Chris got the memo about dressing up and that Mike and Fix apparently did not.
I didn't get a memo.
This is my Colorado festive outfit.
All right. So what I want to do as people are hopping on, and I can see that people are coming. We've got 20 folks in the chat so far, and thank you so much for being here. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about, but first I just want to point out who we have here. Down below me, if things are set up the way they are here in StreamYard, we see Niche Safari Chris, and I could just call you Chris, but I always call you Niche Safari Chris to make sure that people know that you're different from other Chris's. And then I've got Fix, kitty corner from me down there, and then this below average holiday outfit is new to the channel. He is, I think, a medium time watcher, lurker, most recently participant. This is Mike from Below Average Blogger. His YouTube channel is in the description, as is the link to Chris and to Fix. So if you're not subscribed to these folks, you definitely should be. So before we get started and do anything else, I want to go around and quickly just crowdsource. How is everybody doing with the Google algorithm update? My experience initially was awesome. My site that got crushed on May the 4th was like skyrocketing, and I'm like cracking champagne. This is amazing. And then like 3 or 4 days later, it got slaughtered. Happened to two of my sites. And then 2 days ago, they're on the up again. So basically, I'm on like a seesaw of traffic right now. And I basically cry one day and celebrate the next. Is anybody else having that experience? How about you, Mike? How was yours?
Yeah, so I was really leading up to that. I was a little bit anxious like everybody. And the day that it happened, actually the day before, I saw a huge drop and I thought, okay, that's just a random day. I'm not going to worry about it. And then the next day it just continued to sink like a boat anchor. So I definitely got hit, but I can tell you now, it's already coming back. I'm seeing it just jump right back up. So knock on wood, I hate to say it out loud, but I think it's going to be okay.
How about you, Chris? Did you have any bumps or bruises in the last couple of days?
No, one of my sites took a little bit of a hit, and then like 2 days later it recovered, and the other two got a little bit of a positive bump. So this was a good update for me.
How about you, Fix?
You still hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my traffic went up for 2 of my sites and kind of for 3. So yeah, I wasn't too worried about it. I think it's maybe leveling off. It's hard to say. It's also Christmas time. But I wasn't negatively impacted. I also don't pay too much attention to that, so I didn't really even know when that algo was coming out.
Awesome. Well, I want to just say hi to some more folks who have jumped on. I see Jesse and Pat. What is going on? Alexander, thanks for dropping in. There is Carl. Carl, I want to say that your channel looks like it is growing by leaps and bounds, like what, several hundred subscribers a month. So congrats, man. That is awesome. Tortoise Cashflow. Anthony, right? Did I get your name? I believed it was Anthony. And now what I want to do is just go around and let each of my guests, have the floor for a couple minutes, introduce themselves, because if you don't know these folks, then you should. And especially Mike, because Mike is new to the stream. I'm actually going to do a podcast interview with him also as well, so folks will get to know him a little better. But just give us a quick, couple minutes of like, what are you doing here? What is your interest? Are you on, on YouTube and building websites and all the rest, so that we have some context for what it is that you are doing?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of stumbled onto building websites through Income School's channel, like a lot of people do on YouTube. And I thought, well, I'll just jump into this and do it too. But when I looked around, I found all these channels with people who have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and they're giving a lot of great info out. And if you're thinking about stepping into this business, it can be a bit overwhelming. And I figured, you know what? I'll just do a channel where I share the regular guy or gal's experience, where I make mistakes, I screw up, I share those. I'm sure people get kicks out of it when my mom uses my affiliate links. But I just wanted to just kind of give a channel where people can relate to that journey and starting their process. And it's gone well, thanks to the help from you guys. And it's just learning every day as I go.
Awesome. Well, do you have like big goals for this? Like, I want to quit my job and go on Hasta La Vista Boss in like 6 months, or what?
So I started this year when the quarantine first happened. I started doing freelance work on Fiverr, and that has gotten to a point this month, well, the last 2 or 3 months, that it's starting to overtake my regular income. So I'm going to go full-time into that this month. And that's kind of exciting. But on top of that, that gives me a lot more opportunity to focus on the websites and just kind of learning this. And I put a ton of work into my main website this year, but I also learned a ton of mistakes about it this year. So heading into 2021 is going to be starting a couple new sites and really laying a good foundation for each of those.
It's really interesting. I was watching the stream over here and you actually got frozen, but the audio came through all right. So, and I also see that Carl's, one of his comments got held for review because he said that Fix's Christmas jumper sucks. I'm going to show that one.
What? How did that get flagged? What is happening on YouTube?
I think that with YouTube, I set some really aggressive words that get blocked, and sucks is one of those.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
Well, I'm not sure what he's still doing here.
So Fix, it looks like you are at work. So this looks like alternate world,
boring
like
office.
the other Fix. So tell us, just introduce yourself. We know who you are, I think, but not everybody does. And let's just get on the same page.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for off and on for like 2 years. Similar story to Mike. When I started, I was following Income School, part of their course, building up my first website, no idea what I'm doing, even with a course. And when I started YouTube, it was similar. Income School was really promoting like, get on YouTube. So I thought me talking about my early experiences blogging was a good way to test out YouTube, because I wouldn't be like too concerned about it. It wasn't like I was trying to build this massive channel and sell something. And then it's allowed me to connect, end up on doing a joint live stream and stay committed. And probably just a little, this year is probably the hardest I've worked on my websites compared to the earlier year. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to have you here. And basically you said going on YouTube, it has helped you just in general overall. And there's no chance that I would still be doing this, but for YouTube.
Yeah, I agree.
There's just literally no chance. I would have gotten a job, I'm pretty sure. So, all right, let's go. Niche Safari Chris, man, introduce yourself. Explain the sweater, because people are accusing you of stealing it from your mother. I'm pretty sure.
My mother. This is my ugly Christmas sweater. I'm very excited about it.
I love it.
And I'm the only person with a tree. I would like to point out. It flickers.
Very nice.
She better not drag her tree across the house.
Yeah.
She's got like a little baby one by there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can I tell you about myself? I have a YouTube channel, Niche Safari. Look, I'm sounding like an American. And yeah, I guess you all know who I am. I started making websites about 2 years ago. I went full time about 3 or 4 months ago. And yeah, I'm about to start another website, which will be like my 6th or 7th, but several of them are like utter failures. So it's probably going to be maybe my 4th in terms of actually making an income. So yeah, I'm about to start a new one, and Emilia's little Make the Internet Great Again challenge.
Is that what we're calling it? Is it going to be Make the Internet our MEGA 2021 site? Is that, I mean, I've been going back and forth. Should we call it our MEGA site?
It's whatever the crowd wants.
I don't know. I've gotten some really some creative suggestions, but so far I none of them have really grabbed me. But just thinking about like talking about it, like putting on the thumbnail, like MEGA site month 2, you know, and if you're not a part of the group, I guess you won't understand. You'll just...
And we can all wear red hats.
It's very on brand for 2020.
Or off, depending upon your politics.
True. That's a good point.
All right. Well, as long as we're talking about new sites and for 2021, really quick, I just want to shout out that WP Eagle, Alex, I don't know if he's here yet, but next week he's planning on doing like a major stream with inviting lots of people on. And I think it's on Tuesday at 8 p.m., 8:30 his time, which for me translates to 12:30. I'm going to try to be there if I can. I have children who are there and will make it terrible, but other people I think are going to drop in. So if that's not on your calendar, just letting you know to go and check that out. And also thank you, Chris, for bringing up and other folks bringing up the accountability group. I think Chris has his group going, and so do I. I think we've got 25 people who have committed to jumping in and building something new, or just doing a sprint, like just working really hard, starting in 2021. So again, if you want to do that, the link is in the description, at least with my group. And if you want Chris's Discord, which is a great place to go, I will definitely recommend that people go to Niche Safari to do that. But
you have a Discord, Chris?
Yeah.
All right. Well, next, let's move on.
I'll invite you after the stream.
Chris invite only things. We talked about this.
Chris has a Discord, and I recently joined it, and I can just say that I think it's a really good place. Most of the people in there seem really motivated to work really hard, and they ask good questions, and it's a really good place to be. So I can't, instead of starting one myself, I say people should just go to Chris's Discord. That's what I would say. Where should they go, Chris, if they want to get into your Discord?
You have to join my email list, which you can go to nichesafari.com, and there's just a sign up there, and then I send you all the details for all the like private things that only people who sign up to my email list get, and the Discord's one of them.
Yeah. How do I get to the email list again?
Nichesafari.com. Okay,
nichesafari.com. Maybe put that in the chat.
Yeah, somebody, if it works, put it in the chat. Other folks are asking about it. Is anybody paying me to wear the t-shirt? No, but they should. Actually, I have been talking about like just putting like a square right here that says rent me, but not me, just the space, right? So they could have the space like right here for these live streams. But so far, nobody has been interested in purchasing this part. All right, so let's talk about 2021. And one of the things that we had talked about a little bit before starting the stream was some of the components of what it's like to be in this business, for longer than 6 months or a year. And a lot of it, we start to look at maybe some of the ethical sides of some of the things that we do, because first we get these strategies, right? And this is how you build a site, and this is how you make money. And at first, people are so passionate about making money, they don't always think that maybe they should think about the things that they have chosen to do. And we want to talk a little bit about that. So I wanted to pose the question then to everybody is, going forward in 2021, especially with starting a new site, what do you think about reviewing products that you don't own, that you've never bought, and in fact, you would never buy? in order to make money on your site? What do you think, Mike? Ready, go.
Oof, right into the fire on that one. So that's a bit of a tough one because, I mean, at the end of the day, we have one sole purpose when we build these websites, and that's to share information, but ultimately earn money and earn income. And so that requires you displaying and talking about a lot of products. Some of them I've used, and I try to make it a point to really talk about products that I actually know about. My niche is in the outdoor camping and hiking area, and I use and have a lot of the gear I talk about. However, I've certainly posted plenty of gear I've not touched, and I've only read the reviews, and I try to go with good names and brands, but definitely that's an ethical thing we all come across, and it's kind of tough to walk that line as well. I definitely don't put up products I think are going to be duds.
Okay, well, that's something. I think that's a good start. Let's say the floor is try not to review products that will harm people. All right. What about you, Figs?
Yeah, I'm writing a post right now about stuff I've never done.
Literally, like right now, he's like, "Well, I'm typing."
Yeah,
actually, right.
Patio heaters. My first website, any affiliate stuff on there was all things I like currently owned or anything. I don't do very well with it. So is the question like, is that like an ethical issue?
I mean, is it right? I mean, I think it is, it's being out there. And I've talked to Matt Diggity about this, and I talked to Doug Cunnington about this. And their point was, well, if you don't have experience with the product, then eventually the review will sort itself out because people can see, right? So, what's the point of this being regulated by the FTC or anybody else? Because eventually people will be able to sort out what content is good and not.
Yeah. Well, I think most people would feel a lot better about reviewing stuff that they've actually tried. I still don't think it really gets rid of the ethical issue because, again, you're never gonna review something that doesn't have an affiliate commission. So, what if there's a way better product that has no affiliate program? Is that going to be number one, even if it's the number one? But I think you would feel a lot better as a website owner. But I think another issue is, well, then it really opens the door for, well, now these big companies can come in. Say you're doing like top 10 list. It's easy for them to buy 10 products from Amazon because they have like $1 million budget, review them all, and suddenly they're like the best and most honest. So I don't know. So I guess how I approach the reviews now is I research certain products the same way as if I was going to be buying it. And I think that helps some people. But I don't feel like, I'm not proud of any of those posts. I just feel like I got away with something anytime like an Amazon affiliate post ranks. Like in terms of making the internet a better place, yeah, it certainly doesn't help. I don't think that it helps the internet. I am curious when the internet was great though. What year was it great and what are we trying to get back to?
It was probably before most of us were old enough to use a computer, and it probably had a lot to do with something that rhymes with corn.
Yeah. But yeah, I think so. The idea of if you're doing an affiliate post, very few people are getting the products and actually checking them out. So if you're trying to deliver value, I think that's a place, and more than likely that's a place Google wants to move towards. I mean, it's definitely better than someone who hasn't actually even touched the product.
What I thought was interesting though is what you said. You said, I feel like I got away with something.
Yeah.
And if that's a sign that maybe we should be thinking about what we're doing, then I don't know what is. What about you, Chris? Are you going to be doing anything different as far as the ethical side of only or moving towards products that you actually own or use in your sites?
Yeah, I will be. So the first affiliate site that I made was because Doug Cunnington was going on about how good affiliate sites are. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I just reviewed stuff, not expecting it to rank, and it ranked. And I was like, that's cool. And I'm making money from it. And then like each iteration of my websites, I want to get better and better and more proud of my website. So my one next year, I will be I'll be reviewing like say 7 best Christmas trees, and I'll buy the best Christmas tree. And so that I'll at least own the one product that I'm recommending as the best one. But I mean, overall, whether it's ethical or not, One thing I think about is when I was a university teacher, and we used to get our students to write dissertations on like topics, and they could choose primary research or secondary research. And the secondary research methodology, which was like totally respected in academia, was gathering other people's information and putting it together and seeing if you can generate like a summary or new information based upon the gathering together of other people's information and presenting it in a digestible format. So I don't consider it unethical necessarily, but I think that as you want to get better and better at your craft, then moving towards actually buying the products is probably the way to go. And I also think that YouTube is the future because Google is screwing us all over. And part of the future of YouTube is unboxing videos, and you have to own the product.
Or it'll be some really great green screen going on.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw in terms of the chat, I think that was really well put, Chris. People are saying, and I said it in terms of like, you have to spend tons of money. There are ways around that. So you can get crafty and buy the product, review it, sell it on eBay, and you've only paid 10% of what you had to do. So
You could return it, right?
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you could go to the
I
local.
may have considered that.
Like you could go to the store, like to your local department store, wherever it is, buy it, take it home, and then not take the tag off, right? Like you hide the fact that the tag is underneath there, and then just take it back. Well, there was another thing that Chris said that we talked a little bit about was being proud of the stuff that you're working on and creating, and if that is going to be any sort of our business going forward, because this whole website thing, I think there's a transition from, oh, I have a site to I have a business, right? My business. And then at some point being proud of what we have and what we have built. Mike, would you say that where you are right now is one, I'm putting on my air quotes, it's your business. And is it something that you'd be excited to go to someone and say, look what I do, here it is, assuming you're taking to somebody who isn't going to immediately scrape all your keywords and then build a site on top of it?
Yeah, so my first site that I started 6 months ago that I put the most effort into, although I'm treating it like a business, it's not in a place that I would want to present it as my business to say someone I met, because a lot of the reasons we just talked about, I'm reviewing and talking about a lot of products that I've not physically touched. Now, granted, my newer site that I'm working on right now, it's related to something I'm actually owning and all the things you can do with it. So everything I'm posting has my picture and my experiences with it. So I'm kind of heading in that direction, but kind of stepping back to what you guys were talking about, I don't know that it would be feasible for anybody to start an affiliate website if the plan is, I need to crank out 100 articles this year or 200 articles this year. And I also need to own and touch and buy everything I review. I just don't think those things would be possible. If you're going to be super ethical and only review what you know and only know what you touch, you're going to have like 10 articles over the course of a year, or you're rich. I mean, and that's going to be, most rich people aren't jumping into building a site over a year.
So that, I guess, moves me on to a different topic is, do we think it is right to go to Ahrefs and put a site in there and scrape all their keywords and then just basically try to steal their whole business? What do you think, Stuart?
Do I think it's right?
Yeah, I mean, that's like, it's like a strategy. Put that site in Ahrefs and then look for their keywords and then just buy all the content and basically just remake their site but better. Let's just take all their traffic.
Yeah, I mean that is essentially a free market. It's like competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of boring. I'm not sure why you would want to do that. But I mean that's why we have like 100 different burger options. Imagine Burger King came along and was like, oh well, they've already done a burger. There's no way I can make it better. Because what if it is better? What if it truly is going to be better? Then do it. If their site sucks or the content sucks or they just got lucky, take them down. Yeah, ruin their whole website. They have to sell the house, and you can feel good because the content is A+. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's kind of like if that was like your only plan, you're literally just duplicating a website. It just seems like why not spend a little bit more time and see what's like where there's only like forum posts ranking or something like that.
What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I don't particularly have a problem with doing it, because if you're a better SEO, then you can do better. Like, as Fig said, it's a free market. Like, we've all got the same playing field and we've all got the same resources. So if you're better at it than someone else, then you win. It's capitalism, baby.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when people are starting out, many people can't afford the $179 a month for Ahrefs. I mean, is the playing field level for people who can't? We were just talking about the products where you can't afford to buy all the things to use them, and maybe the tools, or maybe you can't actually afford to invest in 1,000 articles and content for that site. You took the keywords with your $179 a month keyword tool, and then you went to buy sell text and dropped $500 over there and dropped your site on the hosting package that you already paid for, because you already paid for it. And then
but we all started at that point, and there's the best keyword research tool in the world is Google, and it's free. So I don't feel sorry for someone because they don't have Ahrefs. Like, we all started there. Just grind. I
don't currently. I spend the $7 on a trial, like once every 3 or 4 months when I want some keywords, and then I can't. And it's not because I can't afford it. It's because I just spend all my day like looking for keywords. Like, oh, this is a good one, and like then I'm obsessed with the hunt for keywords, and I never write content. So I literally just can't have it because it's like crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody talked about the burger reference earlier about just stepping in and making a better burger. And I don't know if you guys, and this dates me how old I am, but did anybody watch Eddie Murphy's Coming to America?
Yeah.
And then he goes to work for McDowell's. It has the arches. They're not golden arches. They're golden arcs. And then he goes through all the burger is exactly the same, except, some sesame seeds. And I'm so entertained right now. I'm actually getting warm. So all right. Fix. What are you going to do differently in 2021?
Differently.
What are you going to do differently from 2020?
Focusing more on display stuff, like display ad type stuff. I'm just like, I'll still do some Amazon stuff, but when I first got on this, it was like, I kind of had like a tunnel vision on just, affiliate is how you make the most money. And the only reason I say that is because from the work I've done and like experience so far, that's the type of business model in terms of a passive website that appeals most to me. So it's not necessarily that I think it's better or the best way to go. It's what makes the most sense to me. I can grind out a bunch of content and start building up display ad earnings to a point where then I can start reinvesting it into content and just keep building it up. I create some sort of vision of how I think it's going to be. So I do that with like the outdoor and the dog sites. And where was I going with that? It's essentially more like a passive income investment type thing that I'm trying to build up. So they're like answering questions. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm proud of them, but the goal is just to keep building them up. And if I get bored or I need to or want to, I can sell them. I really hope, so I've been making more videos. I'm like stockpiling them. I want to really go back to my first website because I have like a course software and I still have like my original vision that whether or not it's going to work, I feel like it's something I need to get out because I do think it's like a valuable idea and website and YouTube that I want to at least give it a better go building up. And so that's probably been like, see, I'm back and forth on that. I sometimes regret that I stopped working so hard on that site because I like worked for a few months, got like 50 or 60 posts up. Then I bought the dog site, and because it was already earning a little bit, it wasn't great. I became very like sidetracked, and then I went into like IRL in my real job, real life, starting like a business. So that distracted me for a while. But so in terms of like making the internet a better place, that's always been my like idea with that gaming website. And yeah, I would like to, I feel like I've learned so much on YouTube doing this channel. I'd like put a lot more work back into that. And just kill the game, basically.
Hey, let's ask Niche Safari Chris. I see Pat's question. It says, what are your thoughts on the removal of third-party cookies in 2021 and how will they affect ad revenue? What do you think?
Yeah, I can tie that into the answer. I think that it is another scary thing on the horizon, but everything is scary on the horizon, and somehow we managed to get through it all. So I also think that from my interactions with the Zoic, they don't seem that worried about the removal of third-party cookies. So for me, it just goes back to diversifying in case that comes around and I get like one day there's a 50% cut in your RPMs because third-party cookies are gone. Then hopefully I'll have offset that by being in a private affiliate program or making a couple $1,000s a month off YouTube. So that just ties back to what Fix was saying, or your question to Fix about what are you doing next year. It's all about diversification to try to defend yourself from all the threats on the horizon.
What about you, Mike?
I think Chris is accurate. I think there's always going to be some hurdles that are coming and kind of seem to be the end of the world for a lot of people. I mean, on a micro scale, take the Google core algorithm updates. Everybody talks about those ending websites, and I think that can happen, right? Depending on the niche and the type of update they do. But generally, these things come, they go, people recover. And the same thing will happen if they do remove cookies. The affiliate marketing industry will kind of always be around. It will just evolve and morph into something else. And diversifying your income streams and the ways that you bring in money will just help you kind of ride that out.
Well, I'm going to turn that question on myself. 2020 for me was a dumpster fire in so many ways, but not because the pandemic, caused any problems for me. It was that I had started so many things in 2019 and 2020, and I've talked a lot about diversifying and having multiple income streams, but I absolutely fell into the trap that we all knew that was there, and I was like towing the line, like, I think I could do it. If I just work harder, I could do it. But turns out I just can't. Like, I just can't build a stream, all these different streams to the level that I am excited about when I'm distracted, when I'm doing a podcast and YouTube and multiple sites and Skillshare and then doing offline stuff. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, I mean, they're all growing, right? They're all something, but they're not where I want them to be. And I want them to all be $1,000 plus income streams. I want to give a very special shout out. I just saw Agnes jump into the chat. Agnes is in Poland, and Agnes was one of my very first YouTube subscribers.
Oh, nice.
We actually came across each other in back when people didn't know that sub for sub was a bad idea. So we subscribed to each other. She was one of my first 100 subscribers, and I continue to watch her videos, and she continues to come to mine. And I love her channel because she's in Poland and just making videos about what it's like to be in Poland during the pandemic. And they're very compelling because it's like the front line view, and it's so different from my experience. So anyway, just shouting out, Agnes, if you are still here, Merry Christmas to you, my dear. I can't wait for 2021. But back to the question of what am I going to do? I'm definitely going to just ratchet back really heavily my efforts. I'm going to keep doing the podcast, but it's going to be like the minimal, right? Just get one episode a week out. Not going to work on ramping up the technology there or the production value there. I mean, I don't use an intro. I like very rarely edit anything. It's just that's going to be there because it's super valuable to me and it helps form relationships, right? Like, it gives people reason to want to talk to me, which is pretty vital to the growth of my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to dump a ton of resources into it. I'm going to stick with YouTube and websites, and I'm probably going to scale back how much time I spend in like making money off of passive income sort of course platforms. I experimented with Listenable, and I don't know how that played out because they only put out sort of their earnings payments like quarterly. So I don't know if that project was worthwhile or not. But getting in on a learning platform early was sort of my goal. Say, okay, I'll get in there at the beginning and then be one of the first creators on the platform. It could also mean that I earn no money from it. No idea. But mostly what I want to do is focus. I want to apply the stuff that I learned in 2020 from folks like all of you who are here with me and also who are in the chat. And then just really, really focus and stop friggin' getting so distracted by this and that and this and that. I really just want to work on 2 sites. Just 2 sites at a time, and then just get it. That is the plan. And if I could call, you know, the site project for 2021, like anything, it's like, you know, I'm thinking like, this is like, let's just go. Like, this is the let's go moment. And that's what I keep going around in my head. Like, just like, let's go. Oh my goodness. Well, what else? What do you want to talk about, Mike?
Oh, can I just ask Mike
Oh,
something?
wait, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
fix.
We kind of glossed over it. You're like at a full-time income on Fiverr. Are you willing to share? I think I remember what you said in Discord. Is that something you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah, sure. I actually put it in one of my videos, but essentially,
Okay, yeah.
when the lockdown first happened and nobody was going anywhere or doing anything, everybody was kind of just stir crazy. And I had thought in the past about doing voiceover on Fiverr, and I just went ahead and took the leap and started doing some audiobooks for Audible, and then started taking a lot more gigs on Fiverr. And the first few months was very slow, and then it just kind of steamrolled. And once you hit like over 100 5-star reviews, the orders really start. I think it's just kind of a social proof thing for customers, and it just kind of snowballed quickly, and it worked out well. And it made it very hard to do a corporate 9 to 5 that you don't enjoy when you can make the same amount of money on your own.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Oh, and you mentioned there's a video for that. Where can people find that video?
On my Below Average Blogger YouTube channel.
Oh, okay, nice.
Links in the description.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
by the way, I saw Niche Informer in the chat, and I don't know if anybody's following him. I think he had like 80 subs last time I looked, but he's putting out really good content about his niche websites, his income reports, and just sharing some content that is definitely relevant to what we do. And if you're not following Niche Informer, definitely give him a subscribe.
Yeah, totally agree. Jesse, I always say, hey, Jesse, because it's Jesse. I should call him out for Niche Informer. But yeah, no, he is, for one, he like jumped into this whole YouTube thing, like not feeling very excited about it. And he just continues to impress me by like, sticking with it and grinding out the videos, even though I don't know yet that he feels good about his videos, but I think they're really valuable and I want him to keep doing them. You said something about Audible. Are you recording the voiceover for people who have created books, or are you creating books and then recording them to audiobooks? Mike?
So I do a mix of all that. So I do podcast intros and outros. I'll do audiobook intros and outros. I'll do the full narration. And then I do a lot of just small commercial spots for car dealerships or online companies, whatever client comes, I just crank it out.
So is that so I guess I don't actually know your story. Do you have a full-time job on top of this?
So it's actually in the transition week right now. I'm actually offboarding right now. But essentially, for the past 20 years, I did a combination of 10 years in the Army, 10 years as law enforcement, and then I went into an investigator role with the United States government doing
Narc.
Oh,
I'm just joking.
all of your IPs are recorded right now. So yeah, I was a special agent for the government for a few years in DC, and it was a miserable job. Everybody was miserable. Everybody in DC is miserable. Everybody in Congress is miserable. And my wife and I were like, you know what, let's just go back to the mountains. And so I got recruited by a defense contractor to work from home. And I did that on the intel side for a while, and it just is not satisfying and not interesting. And I found this during the lockdown year. So while 2020 was a dumpster fire, for me, it was really a transitional year and kind of finding a new path. So I've appreciated it.
did I just hear that Jesse put in notice at his job? Did I just hear that? Did I read that? That Niche Informer is going to full-time?
Well, check out his videos. He knows what he's doing. He can do it.
Oh my goodness, that totally, I'm going to turn away from the thing now. It's the Jesse, I've been talking to Jesse for majority of this year, and going full-time was a huge goal of his, and that is a huge deal. And so everybody who's in the chat, if you are there, please congratulate Jesse. This is a big deal, and it is the goal that so many of us are really trying to get to. So this is when you, gentlemen, this is when you clap. Come on. Also, the Eagle has flown. I see Alex, WP Eagle. And Alex, I gave you a shout out earlier about your stream next week. You are going on Tuesday, and you are having a Christmas holiday special similar to this one, but I bet it will be awesome, probably awesomer, because you'll have probably all of the people here plus all the people over there. So, but anyway, that is happening. So I just wanted to let you know that we did talk about it, and I think a lot of us are planning on being there if we can. Alex says no, and I don't know. Are you not having that? Yeah, Alex, if you want to come here, I can send you the link to this. It'd be kind of hilarious because first of all, I have to figure it out live and have to like let you guys talk about it while I do it.
Oh, I can send him a link on Discord.
Yeah, send him the StreamYard stream if he wants to come on. I don't know.
Fix, just send him the link to Chris's Discord since you're familiar with it.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Well, Chris, what is one thing about your business that you're working on that we don't know about?
I kind of share everything. I have a plan to start going hard at YouTube next year. And I've recently found Doodly. I mean, everyone's seen those YouTube videos where it looks like someone's drawing on the screen.
The whiteboard videos.
On the whiteboard, yeah. So I'm getting a subscription to that, and I'm going to try to go hard on some, like, hopefully, sort of viral YouTube videos to try to get my YouTube I would love to have at least $1,000 a month in ad income from YouTube. That would be awesome.
Across all your channels or just like per channel?
Yeah, across all my channels. So I'm making about 100 a month at the moment from one of my channels. And then Niche Safari will eventually start getting ads when I get 4,000 hours of watch time. Yeah, I need to hit that.
How far away on Niche Safari are you?
I'm about 1,000, maybe 1,200 watch hours away. I have like 5-minute videos, so it takes a long time to get there.
I think Alex laid the groundwork with the live streams. That's the way to get there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons, though, I'm like taking my live streams off is my concern about the evergreen type of content, because a lot of the thumbnails, right, once it's streamed, they go by and then people see the thumbnails and assume, oh, well, that was last week's stream. I'll just watch this week's stream. Like, why bother going back and watching the old one? And so that's part of my experiment to move them to a new one. Although I will say that doing the stream was 100% the reason I got to 4,000 hours as fast as I did. It's like the end of the stream, like at the end, it'll show me this little screen about how well I did and be like, oh, like 50 hours of watch time or 100 hours of watch time, like all at once. And it just took forever to do that with a 3-minute video that somebody watches 40% of, if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
My coffee cup is empty.
Oh, no.
Has anybody tried YouTube Shorts?
Oh, yeah, I did one.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
So I did a couple on my outdoor channel, and I think I did 3, and 2 did pretty much nothing, and then 1 got like 2,500 views, and it was 8 seconds. And so I don't know the rhythm or the reason why those do well and some don't, but it was a quick, almost 3,000 views, so I'll take it.
What about you, Fix?
Well, on mine, a person by the name of Matt Diggity, I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of him, commented on it, saying that he thought it was funny.
Which one? Which one was that?
I only did one. It was like a spoof of Gurus.
Is that where you had the stars and the?
Yeah, that meme. I'm putting together I'm gonna test that out on my other channel. So I'll have more like fitness oriented ones for like gamers type stuff because they're so easy to make. But I don't know. I just didn't see the appeal of doing any more for the type of channel for my .fix channel. Other than trying to make something funny.
What about you, Chris? Have you thought about trying them?
No interest either.
He's like, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's trying to roll out like these new things and trying to make you try new things and change the way you do things. And I'm just like, man, I'm the other side of 30. I don't want to try new stuff.
He's like 30. I'm so old. And the rest of us. Well, I can't speak for Fix because I don't actually know how old he is, but I discovered how old Mike was and I kind of laugh like. Oh, Pete asks, what about Google Discover? Has anybody had any success with Google Discover? And
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I agree with Chris. I'm so like that's a goal of mine. There's so many distractions, like you were talking about, Emilia. It's just like, oh my gosh, too many stuff to check out.
Oh wow.
Kevin asks, do you get the same stats from shorts as you do from videos? And can you tell how many subscribers that you get from a short?
I don't know. I haven't looked at those analytics on that.
Yeah, you can see subscribers. The views don't count towards anything really, and you can't monetize them.
Really?
Yeah, you don't get paid for them. Even if your short went like millions and millions and millions of views, you don't get anything for that, and it doesn't count towards your watch time.
Well, I guess
And
the only
plus
reason.
oh, sorry. Well, you're competing with people like Mr. Beast, so now he has an entire shorts channel, and so like, and he like his shorts are like giving away a car. Like that's fun for someone to watch for 20 seconds. Not, hey, do you want to make almost $50 a day on Amazon?
I guess the only reason I could see to really do them then is to get subscribers. Like if you could hit out of the park with one of those shorts and people subscribe, then that would be, assuming that they're the right niche, right? That they are actually people who are interested in your content.
Mhm.
I'd be worried about putting out something funny because I'm not that funny. And so people would come to the channel and the guys nod. They're like, yeah, you're not. I'm not that funny. And so if I like have one funny short and then the rest of my content is just me sitting here drinking coffee, looking ridiculous, they're like, unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Question said, would you prefer to build a niche YouTube channel or niche blog if the target was to make $1,000?
I think these days, if you can build it, YouTube is going to be your. I think honestly, YouTube is probably going to be the future. So I think if you're going to put your effort and time into something, sure, you can complement it with a website, but I would focus on YouTube.
What do you guys think?
If it's like your first entry, blogging is probably easier unless you have experience with YouTube. I think the learning curve can be more difficult for YouTube unless you are surrounded by people who know what they're doing. I personally I don't use social media, but I've always used YouTube, so I guess that kind of counts. I like that platform. I like that exists in the world. So I really enjoy YouTube. I would much prefer to only ever do YouTube. But it just, when you're like editing stuff, it just takes so much longer, as opposed to like, you've never done anything about making money online. People can wrap their heads around like sitting down, typing out an article. Most people have written like an essay in school. Now you get to write an essay, but make spelling and grammatical mistakes. Nobody cares. Well, maybe Chris doesn't. His rating's pretty good.
What do you think, Chris?
I think it's easy to make money from a blog still, but I agree with Mike that YouTube is the future. And I guess maybe it's just because I haven't really cracked YouTube yet, and I don't really like. It feels like it's a lot of hard work to start making money on YouTube.
Mhm.
So, but I feel as if I don't know, I'm conflicted because part of me says that YouTube is the way blogs were 10 years ago, where there's such little competition in YouTube and you can rank for super difficult keywords without that much effort. So I don't know.
See, I'm going to disagree with the statement that blogging is easier than YouTube. I think it's definitely easier to sit down and type out something versus making a good video. But I think that this idea that blogging is easy is probably one of the reasons why I think a lot of people struggle in the first year, because they're just said, oh, all you got to do is get a domain name, get hosting, and then just type something and get it up there and you have a blog. Well, and then, in year 2, you're like, there's so much more to it than that. If I want to reach the levels that I want to, if I wanted to make $1,000 a day, I mean, it's definitely not that difficult to sit down and, you can buy that for like a Fiverr for 50 cents, but it doesn't mean that it's good. And so like making money, I mean, anybody can start a blog, right? You don't even need money. You can do it on Blogger or wherever else. Even on Facebook, you can just blog on your Facebook, but to do a good job at it and actually get people to see your stuff, I think it's easier on YouTube, because YouTube is like, it wants people to stay, right? It wants to suck you in. And so it will take your content and show it to people, even if your content is not that good, to test it on them. And then you get the feedback like live, right? I don't have to wait 9 months or 12 months or like, is this article going to rank? Is this article good? I don't know if this article is good. Like YouTube, just, basically right away, is this good or not? And I think for people who are just getting started, who need to learn, that feedback is immediate. And it's not like you can hide, right? On a blog, I can hide and I can post 100 posts that nobody sees. And if I fail, nobody knows. On YouTube, I mean, there's subscribers, like they see it and they know. And I'd say that I think YouTube is easier than I think starting a blog versus starting a YouTube channel. I think doing well on blogging versus YouTube, I'm going to pick YouTube.
You know what's an interesting thing I came across doing the Fiverr work was there are channels out there that are making a killing on YouTube, and I do a lot of their voiceovers, and that is they take products they've never used, kind of like our debate earlier, and they do a top 10, outdoor gadgets or top 10 best grills or whatever it is, doesn't matter. They do a top 10 of something, and they use B-roll footage from the manufacturer. They don't show their face. It's literally just edited video, a $20 voiceover on Fiverr, and these people they're getting a lot of hits, and then their description is filled with affiliate links. So that's kind of merging both of those where you can hide behind it and you can do well with it.
I think one of the things people are doing is they are cribbing content from blogs to make YouTube videos. So their research is sometimes even just taking the top 10 listicle that they may have found on a blog somewhere and making a video out of it. And I don't think that there's a lot of software out there necessarily to catch that, because it's basically stealing content, right? I'm just going to read your blog post and then use some stock footage on that. But who's necessarily looking for that or looking to see if somebody's using your research in their YouTube video just to get those views? I think there are a lot of those Fiverr channels that are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm tempted to do it myself.
I may have looked into it. I don't know.
I mean, you help other people make money from doing it. I mean, why aren't you doing it? You see what they're doing and you know how they're doing it. Then,
well, because honestly, I have 2,000 projects I'm doing at one time, so I'm not very good at balancing all of that, let alone taking on a new one. And I'm really focusing this year on my outdoor channel to really push that with some authentic content. I don't want to do, it kind of goes back to that ethical thing. I don't want to do just a robo channel and just sit back and rake in my affiliate money with my John Cristani gun. So I'm going to try and build a relationship with the viewers on that channel and see how it goes.
So the title of this video was 2020 a dumpster fire? And I think that will be an individual question. And so I just want to ask each of you before we wrap up, because we've been here almost an hour and we're going to let everybody get to their work. For you personally, Chris, was 2020 a dumpster fire?
It felt like a dumpster fire. Every single day I would wake up and be like, oh man, like something else has gone wrong. But then I turn around and reflect on like where I was in January this year to December this year, and I kind of like climbed over the dumpster fire, and I'm better off now than I was at the beginning of the year. So it's not a write-off at all.
As far as some of the progress, can you share like where you were and then how and your progress? So you say, oh well, I look where I was and I see where I am. You know, what did that look like?
I don't know how to answer that. At the start of this year, I was far less knowledgeable. It's like there's so much more to learn, and I'm still like next year I'm going to learn a whole lot. My page views were significantly less across all of my websites. I never sold anything on Amazon until February this year.
Never?
No, the first time I ever put an Amazon affiliate link in was in February.
Wow.
And yeah, now I'm like making great money off Amazon. So obviously, like I've seen lots of progress despite Google's and Amazon's best efforts.
Despite a global pandemic, you left your job this year, right? Like like 2020 was a big year for you then.
Yeah, totally.
Like a good year. Yeah.
But it didn't feel like it as you went like day by day. It doesn't feel like it because all of the stuff has happened. But as long as you just wake up and show up every day and keep working away at it over time, things work out. What
about you, Mike? Was 2020 a dumpster fire?
Externally, I think it was a dumpster fire, depending on, if you look at the big picture in the world outside of your front door. However, for me personally, I think it was a good transitional year. I learned a lot of incredible new things. I've networked and met a lot of great people. I've changed my career altogether, and I feel like the future is pretty bright right now. So although, DC was a dumpster fire, my life was pretty good.
What about you, Fix?
It's probably going to be like the most stressful year of my life, just because it was already going to be. Like we got our first house, we moved cities. It was supposed to be a smoother transition, but I opened my own business and we had a baby. And then a pandemic also happened.
So basically, each one of those things on their own would be like an amazing, like, year milestone.
Yes. Yeah. But then it just all happened at once. Like, yeah, like Chris said, like, that's really all you, as long as you persevere. But I mean, it's like anything in life. That's why people like go camping. Like, the more difficult something is, usually the more you're going to like learn about yourself and what you're dealing with and all that stuff. So I feel like I made the most progress with my websites I've ever had. I am so thankful I was already into this stuff before this happened, and YouTube as well. So that's when you inspired me to live stream, but also like the quarantine, like just feeling more isolated. I was live streaming, so I don't know, I've learned so much. I probably learned the most this year. But yeah, it's pretty stressful.
It's pretty stressful. Well, I'm going to answer this question too, but I want to call out to the chat for the folks that are there. It says, what was 2020 for you? Was it a dumpster fire or not? Because I would love to hear how things went for you and what elements of that made you decide, okay, one or the other. Because I think for a lot of people, especially in this industry, 2020, even though there was multiple updates, there was just global trouble, a lot of people had really good years. For me personally, I think I failed at every single goal I set out to achieve in 2020. I think literally every single thing. I don't even have to go back and look at my video from December of last year, even though I said that I was going to. I had planned to do that, and ultimately I couldn't face myself. I didn't have the courage to go back and look at it because I know, like, I was super excited, and then I know I didn't get there. But I don't feel bad about it, and I don't feel like a failure at all because I didn't achieve those goals for all the reasons that you gentlemen mentioned. Is it was a year of learning. I am definitely much farther along than I was. I mean, and I have to look at perspective, right? I have a channel now, a YouTube channel, my very first YouTube channel that has 2,600 subscribers. And there are people who are stuck in the first couple hundred and have been stuck there for years who really would like to trade places with me. I have met so many cool people, and many of them are here in the chat right now and are here on screen with me. And these, I think, are long-term colleague friendship type relationships that it will help support me and keep me going in this business, because ultimately this is the right place for me. And I think that's what 2020 helped me learn. It's like, I really want to do this. I really don't want to go back to working outside of my home. I really don't want to go back to working for someone else and not having control over, well, as much control as I can have. I mean, I can't control what's happening outside of anything. I like to think I do. But, you know, it's like the perspective. Jesse's just saying it right now. Despite the pandemic, 2020 has been an amazing year. And so I can't say for me personally that 2020 was a dumpster fire. Just wasn't. It sucked for a lot of people, but not for me. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that this is what we are doing right here. All right. This is your last shot. I almost always give everybody a chance to either, you know, do their own sign off or plug, like, check me out over here. This is what I'm doing, or anything else. Mike, you're up first. What should we do? You know, what are you like? Are you trying to grow your YouTube channel? Should we go there? Go to your website?
Yeah, so there's no website for Below Average Blogger. I'm not much of a brand as far as making mistakes in blogging. However, definitely give my channel a follow or a look if you are new to this or considering taking it on, and you can kind of see the stumbles I've made along the way and how I fixed them, and it kind of gives you more of a, I hope to be a relatable look into this industry altogether, because there's lots of gurus and there's lots of great knowledge out there, but sometimes it's nice to know that other regular people like you are out there just getting into it.
I would definitely call myself a regular person.
You're quickly becoming a guru.
Against my better judgment or any efforts whatsoever. What about you, Fix?
You can check out my YouTube channel if you want.
If you want. I actually would recommend that you don't.
Well, if you want to learn how you too can make 56 euros from this is my second UK Amazon check, so that's nice. That's like one whole blog post right there. I'm mostly doing. I'm sort of this coming year. Like I'll be doing a lot less. I'm a lot less focused on that, just with being busy. So it's mostly going to be like my monthly updates, and then maybe a funny video because I really want to try working on my other channel and possibly starting a different channel for one of my blogs. Maybe I'll put up like 100 shorts of like a cute dog and see if that works.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, you can go to Niche Safari on YouTube. You can follow me. Currently doing one case study that is a dumpster fire, to use that phrase.
That's a technical term. Don't make fun of the dumpster fire.
So yeah, if you want to see another below average blogger, you can subscribe to my one as well.
As for me, folks, just another quick reminder that this is the last live stream on this channel. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go live next week, but I definitely will be going live after the holiday, and I'm trying to bring on lots of guests. So I'm going to be bringing on Sasha Yanshin. He's going to come on live, and then Nick Allen is going to come on live. I've got Bo from Waves and Websites slated to come on live. And basically, I'm just trying to bring in lots of people who are going to be going hard in January and February and in March with their new sites. I would love to grab Jesse once he's free of his work. That would be awesome to bring him on here. I'm planning on asking Mike to get him like one-on-one and basically just keep working on building up this community into something that's really valuable. Thank you for hitting the likes, and whoever hit the thumbs down button.
Haters.
How dare you? Yep. So the links to all of those things are in the description. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It's been a great year in 2020. And this is sort of like the sign off, like the wrap up. I started streaming with the content challenge in January, partially because of Chris and some of the other folks that are in this group. And it's like full circle. I didn't plan on going live more than once or twice. And here I am 12 months later. Who knew?
Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you in 2021.